Biblical scholars are unsure as to what final form this image of the beast will take. But most agree that it will be the symbol of the beast's empire. The crescent moon and star is the well-known symbol of Islam. But few people know that it was the very same symbol used by the worshippers of the ancient false god, Baal. It was also the symbol used by the worshippers of the false god Bel. Satan's name is called Lucifer, which we get from Isaiah 14:12. Lucifer is the Latin name for the original Hebrew word, which is Halal. He is described as a morning star and son of the dawn. In Hebrew, the words translated are Halal, Ben Shashar. What is even more fascinating, however, is that the word Halal, which is translated in the King James as Lucifer, is also found in Arabic, having a nearly identical meaning. Most specifically, Hilal, in Arabic, means crescent moon. When we put the whole phrase together, Halal, Ben Shashar, it simply means crescent moon, son of the morning star, or the dawn. Or in simpler terms, a crescent moon with a star lingering over it. Of course, this has come to be the very symbol of Allah and Islam. Yet Isaiah portrays the crescent moon and star to graphically depict Lucifer himself. Nearly every Islamic flag carries this symbol, as does nearly every mosque brandish this symbol on the pinnacle of its dome and its minarets. This symbol is also found on nearly every food product produced today. And this is where it gets really interesting. Because the very name of Lucifer, in Hebrew, is the very name which Muslims have given to their food stamp. The name of Lucifer in Hebrew is Halal. This is almost the exact phonetic pronunciation as ha-lal. Muslims have given the crescent stamp the Hebrew name of Lucifer himself. It's almost too unbelievable for words. Consider the implications of this then. The very description that the Bible uses to describe Lucifer, Islam applies to itself, and the ancient symbol of Baal and Bel worship has now become the image of Islam. This could be the very image of the beast. Revelation 13:15 describes the false prophet giving breath to his image, enabling it to speak. This may describe a supernatural, demonic voice which comes out of his image. Or, it may describe a speaker system attached to the image. Either way, the image itself will demand all who will not bow before it to be put to death. Something else quite interesting is that in Islamic tradition, Muhammad stated that on Judgment Day, the Kaaba stone, which is the black stone located in the corner of the Kaaba, toward which all Muslims bow, will one day speak and give wisdom to all who touch it. The Muslims say the Kaaba stone was a star which fell from heaven, at the feet of Adam. But the Bible describes Lucifer as the star which fell from heaven. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Therefore 1.3 billion Muslims are bowing down to the image of Lucifer. The star which fell from heaven, the Kaaba stone, could very well be the image of the beast. And on the day when the false prophet causes this image to speak, those bowing before it will lose their souls. Moses strictly forbade the Jews from worshipping the host of heaven. And a star or meteorite, the Kaaba stone, is exactly what Muslims around the world are bowing down toward. In defiance of the commandment given to Moses. Unless thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun, and the moon, and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them, and serve them, which the Lord thy God hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven. Act 7:42 says, So God turned away from them, and gave them over to worship the stars of heaven, as it is written in the book of the prophets, people of Israel. It was not to me that you slaughtered and sacrificed animals for 40 years in the desert. It was the tent of the god Moloch that you carried, and the image of Rephan, your star god. They were idols that you had made to worship. The Bible mentions two things involved in the worship of Moloch. One, a tent or tabernacle. The other, a star idol. These two things are the very same idols we find the Muslims bowing down toward. The tent or tabernacle, and the idol image of a star fallen from heaven. Zephaniah 1:4 says, I will reach out to punish Judah and Jerusalem. Nothing will remain of the god Baal. Nothing will be remembered of his pagan priests. Not a trace will be found of those who worship stars from their rooftops, or bow down to the god Milcom, while claiming loyalty to me, the Lord. Nothing will remain of anyone who has turned away and rejected me. This verse is describing the day that Christ returns from heaven. That he will destroy all who worship Baal and those who bow down to stars. But the god Baal has long since vanished. So why is God speaking about destroying the worshippers of a god that no longer exists? The answer is that Baal worship is alive and well. Baal has just renamed himself Allah. And his star worship is being continued through Muslims, who bow down every day to the host of heaven, which now takes the form of the Kaaba stone, the star which fell from heaven. Some biblical scholars believe that the Kaaba stone is the abomination of desolation mentioned by Jesus, which will be moved from the Kaaba to the Jewish temple in Jerusalem. If the cornerstone of Lucifer's temple, the Kaaba, were to become the cornerstone of God's temple in Jerusalem, that would be the ultimate blasphemy. But why would worshipping a stone cause you to lose your soul? You see, the stone will replace Jesus Christ, the rock of our salvation. Muhammad declared the Kaaba stone was able to take away sins by touching it. Therefore Muhammad replaced Jesus Christ, the only one able to forgive sins, with the image of Lucifer, fallen from heaven, and claimed that this stone is able to forgive sins. If this stone is placed in the Jerusalem temple, it will be as if Lucifer has seated himself and his image on the earthly throne of God, which rightfully belongs to Jesus Christ. And those worshipping the speaking image will have denied Christ and sealed themselves to Lucifer. The image of the Kaaba stone is printed on the cover of every Quran. Therefore the Kaaba stone depicts the very symbol for the word of Allah. The image of the beast may represent the word of Allah, the Quran. This image is the very opposite of Jesus Christ, whom the Bible calls the Word of God. So the opposite would be an image which depicts the word of Lucifer. And the Kaaba stone is that very image, which may speak. And those who refuse to bow down before this image, which speaks the words of Allah, will be put to death. And the false prophet will demand that all pray toward the image of the beast. And he will likely use the Muslims' call to prayer, and the speaker system, in every mosque minaret, around the world, to call everyone to bow toward the image of the beast. Therefore the voice, from the image of the beast, will be heard in every nation, from the towers of the Muslim mosques, demanding that those who will not bow down, during the call to prayer, must be put to death. This image of the beast will become the symbol of the Islamic Empire. The images we've discussed here